عبر قرض لتشييد طريق سريع هو قيد الإنشاء، أحكمت الصين قبضتها الاقتصادية على هذا البلد الصغير الذي يقع جنوب أوروبا. مونتنيغرو اليوم واحدة من الدول الصغيرة التي سقطت فعليا بين أنياب العملاق الصيني إذن، ومن هنا فهي تعتبر مثالا حيا لانقضاض بكين على الدول. الحكاية بكل بساطة أن في العام 2014 أقرضت الصين مونتينيغرو أموالا لبناء طريق سريع. فيها المحصلة أن الطريق لم يكتمل ومونتينيغرو ليس بإمكانها سداد الديون للصين. لكن أيضا المشكلة أكبر، وهي تكمن كذلك في عدم قدرة مونتينيغرو على الاستمرار في تطوير بنيتها التحتية. فما هي تفاصيل هذا القرض الصيني الفخ إذا صح القول؟ ما هو حجم الديون التي يجب على مونتنيغرو سدادها؟ وما الذي تطلبه من الاتحاد الأوروبي؟ كل هذه التفاصيل نناقشها مع نائب رئيس وزراء مونتنيغرو السيد ريتان أبازوفيتس. سيد أبازوفيتس، بداية أهلا بك في أخبار الآن. هل يمكن أن تحدثنا أو تخبرنا كيف أغرقت الصين بلادكم في هذا الكم الهائل من الديون؟
Yes, we have a little bit financial problem with the Chinese, but to be very honest, that is the problem which we can address to our former government or our authorities, not to the Chinese side. We get the credit in 2014 for the building of the highway. That is 1 billion of euro. That credit was in the dollar, so 1 billion of dollar in that time. Maybe for Emirates or for some rich country there is not too much, but for the small Montenegro it's pretty big money. And the problem is that is only for the 43 kilometers of the highway. So that kilometer per highway is around 27 millions of euro. And this is one of the most expensive highway in the world. Maybe it's not most expensive, but it's one of the most expensive. And everything what we made it around the highway in that period was with lack of transparency. And now the new government starting to make also investigation about that, to see that everything is fine, to see that it's maybe some kind of corruption there. And now we just need to unfortunately we still don't have the project is still not end. It's postponed two-time opening of that highway. I think that until the end of this year it will be over. But this is the story about the highway. So let me explain the situation. If you expecting from me, not you personally, but if somebody expect from the government to say that we have the problem with Chinese, we will not say that. Why? Because they, like every single country in the world, and like every single company of the world, get over an offer. From my point of view, that was something which it was not accepted, should be not accepted from our authorities, so from government of Montenegro, because government of Montenegro in that period should care about the national interest of the state and financial stability of the state. That is the responsibility of former authorities. It's not responsibility of some company or of some state, because you can give like an offer whatever you want, and it's up to another side to say yes, this is something which is acceptable for us, or no, we want to find some another model to making that. So it is the big mess and all around that project, but finally I think that in the end of the day, we need to respect the contract, and during the next 14 years, we will pay our rate, which is around 66 to 67 million euro per year, and we will try to give it that back, and after that project will be over.
سيد أبازوفيتس، يعني ذكرت أرقاما خيالية هائلة جراء هذا القرض الصيني. هل توافق إذن على أن هذا الطريق السريع في مونتينيغرو يؤدي إلى لا شيء؟ هل توافق مع هذا القول أم لا؟
It's true. We need two more parts of highway to complete the highway from the south, from the coast to the north and border with Serbia. That will be complete project. This is only one part. It's true that is most complicated part. That is true. But for now, we will have, after we will finish the project, we will have the highway from Podgorica to Kolashi. So connection between cities. Podgorica is the capital and have around 150,000 people, and Kolashi is a very small place in the north with 15,000 people. It is touristic center, but that is, if we don't make and don't construct two more part, there is, we can say, from nowhere to nowhere.
هل يمكن أن تخبرنا إذن سيد أبازوفيتس ما هو أو ما هي بنود العقد الذي تم إبرامه بين الصين ومونتينيغرو؟ بمعنى الصين ماذا تريد جراء هذا العقد أو جراء بناء هذا الطريق السريع؟
Look, in return, China wants money, like in every project. So this is the project between two states, China and Montenegro. It's Exim Bank, China bank there, and CRBC is the Chinese company which built the highway. So we pay all the price. That price in the beginning was $806 million of dollars, and that is for complete highway. But the problem, it was key problem from my point of view. First, lack of transparency, because we made the arrangement and we guarantee with the property of the state, and nobody knows which property is that. Second, that if we have some problems, the court which will be responsible, it's in Beijing. If we have some problem during the realization of problem. Third thing is that Chinese have possibility, if with some political occasion, that ask to pay all the debt immediately. That's the problem. Fourth thing is that we made the law in the Parliament of Montenegro in 2015 for the highway, and this was very significant thing. In that period, I was in opposition and I voted against that law, not because I am against of highways. Everybody wants to have better roads and better infrastructure in our country, but it was significant because we never have the laws for some capital investment, for something which is big capital projects. Only what was the rule of the parliament was to give the permission to take some credit, and in these cases they made the law giving a lot of tax-free to the Chinese. That tax-free using also our companies which are under constructor, and that is another question in all this project. And in the end of the day, I think that situation why they go former government to produce that kind of law, it is only one reason, because they want to stay behind that law for everything what will be in the future. So if we will come to that they spend the money in regular way, or if it's not rational, they will say we doing that because we have that kind of law. That was the reason.
الصين تتمدد في مختلف البلدان، إن كان في الشرق الأوسط، في أوروبا وغير ذلك. هل ترون أن مشروع الصين الجيوسياسي يمتد أو يمر عبر بلادكم مونتينيغرو؟
If you ask me to speak about geopolitics of China, I will not do that. I am the deputy prime minister of Montenegro. This is the fair relation between our country and China. I speaking only about one project which is in our country, and I think that project, it was out of any economical and financial logic. But new government comes 1 year ago. We starting to work, and we need to respect contracts. We have more contracts which are out of logic, but this is the huge one. This is the huge in the concept of financing. So we starting to fight corruption also in another cases, and organized crime in another cases. And this is something which is very familiar, unfortunately, in this part of the world, in Western Balkan countries. But I really think that we are not under some, let's say, big pressure of China. We are not in one situation that we are not ready to pay our debts. I think that we will pay our debts. I tell you how much is the rate for the highway, and I think that we can probably go to negotiate with some another financial institution, probably with some European financial institution, for building of these two more parts of the highway.
أنتم اليوم يعني طبعا تشغلون منصب نائب رئيس وزراء مونتينيغرو، أي الموقع رسمي. هل تتفاوضون اليوم مع بكين لإعادة جدولة ربما هذا القرض الكبير أو ربما تقليص الفوائد التي ترتبت جراءه؟
We have a negotiation because we need to finish the project. And I think that construction part will be finished until end of this year. And after that, we will wait for the final permission to start that highway to work. I think that also Chinese have some kind of understanding from situation in Montenegro, and that is what I say, and repeating, we are not concerned in this moment that something bad can happen. We are not concerning in this moment.
كان هناك عتب إذا صح القول على الاتحاد الأوروبي. هل تعتقد أن الاتحاد قد أقدم على ارتكاب خطأ كبير عندما طلبت مونتينيغرو المساعدة ولم يلبي هذا الطلب الاتحاد؟ هل تعتقد أن هناك خطأ كبيرا من قبل الاتحاد الأوروبي؟
Yes, I think. I don't want to say that is the big mistake because they have own interests, own visions, but they need to be more effective in the Western Balkan countries. They need to look. Situation is very easy. It's very easy to understand. If you don't want to work and finance some kind of project, somebody else won't. That's it. So I think that EU should understand that decision-making process should be faster. And if we really want partnership with EU and we want that, so they need to invite own companies, they need to invite own economical subject to be more effective in the region. I think that will be good for the both sides. And in this point, in this situation, we come to the situation to criticize the Chinese, but in that period, we didn't have understanding from some European company to join the project because they didn't see the political logic. But in that period, they support former government in everything against opposition. You understand? This is the situation. And now we are new government, new will of people who want to see some kind of changes, and we want to see changes also in our economical aspects. This is very important thing to change in our economical aspects, and we want to see more investigation from the Western companies and more projects which are sustainable in concept of the economical reason, financial reason, ecological reason. So we want to see that kind of investigation. In this period of last 20 years, we see only privatization and projects which are most of them are very how to say not so good for our country. Not so good for our country. So somebody else saw the interest, and with the lack of transparency, we selling lot of hotels. We don't build new hotels. We have the lot of people who coming with the money which is not so clear, with the capital which is not so good. So we want to see more fair business, and we want to create the environment which will provide more justice, more safety, more security for everybody, and also to make the possibility to everybody to make the fair business. So this is our ambition.
في السابق كان الاتحاد الأوروبي أشار إلى أنه لا يمكن دفع ديون مونتينيغرو إلى الصين بقدر ما يمكن أن تقدم أو يقدم الاتحاد الأوروبي على إقراض مونتينيغرو. هل ما زلتم اليوم تطلبون المساعدة من الاتحاد الأوروبي؟
Yes, we asking EU, but I want to make it clear this situation. Nobody asked EU to give money to Montenegro like a gift. Nobody asked that. So to be very clear, nobody asked EU or any another financial institution to give some to pay the debt of Montenegro, because that is not possible and that is not something what we asked. What we asked is to make the arrangement for the credits which will use for the financing of 2 more parts of highway and 1 part of refinancing of China's credit. So to make that diversity in the debt, that to have 1 part of debt to the Chinese and 1 to the European. Now we are all debt is to the Chinese, and that can be very problematic for us. So we want to have new arrangement, like every physical person make in the bank. You have the credit in one bank, after that you have better condition in some another bank, taking a credit, close this one and pay another credit with a better condition. That's the business. Nobody asked somebody to give the money to pay the debt of Montenegro and we to say, okay, thank you very much because you giving us 1 billion of euro like you give. We don't ask for that. So we are very serious in making a business. I'm talking about new government, and we think that this is the way how we can slow that impact of China in Montenegro and have the new arrangement with some European institution for the next 10 or 50 or 20 years.
أما وقد وصلت مونتينيغرو إلى هذا الحد من التدهور الاقتصادي جراء القرض الصيني الكبير الفخ كما ذكرنا. برأيك ما هو الحل للتخفيف من تأثير التمدد الصيني في مونتينيغرو؟
It is a big problem because there is huge money for Montenegro. Just to understand how huge it is. In 2014, that was around 30% of our GDP. We take a credit which is 30% of our GDP in 2014. And it is problematic. Why? Because highway is not only project in Montenegro. And we need to finance another project in Montenegro to develop country in another sectors. It's not only 43 kilometers of road, everything in this country. So that make a problem for us. But if you ask me, we are concerned that we don't have the money to pay that in the future? I am not concerned. I think that we will pay everything in the time, and we will not come deeply in the problem. But if you ask me, does this problem will stop some another project? Because we have this huge debt and huge hole in the public budget, I will say yes. That will stop another project which will be realized if we don't have this situation.
سيد أبا زوفيتس، يعني نعرف اليوم أن الصين أو للصين مشروعا كبيرا يسمى طريق الحرير، وهو يمتد أو عابر للدول والقارات، وهناك دول كثيرة تئن كما تئن اليوم مونتينيغرو. ما هي رسالتكم لهذه الدول التي تمكنت الصين من غزوها أو أن الصين تحاول غزوها في المستقبل؟ ما هي رسالة مونتينيغرو لهذه الدول من أجل التنبه لمخاطر هذا النوع من القروض الصينية؟
My message is very clear and very simple. Every country, if you want to survive in this globalized world, should provide professional and independent and strong institution. If we have better distribution of justice, if we have the strong system which provide the justice in the country, we will have the situation that will recognize when somebody wants to make fair business or unfair business. This is not something which is message to Chinese investors or Russian investors or American investors. So countries like Montenegro should be very careful, should work more in promotion of democracy, transparency, open society, and making possibility to everybody who wants to make the fair business to do that. But also to see that everybody who want to join some kind of corruption, who want to join some kind of using of public goods for the personal interest, to recognize that and to don't accept to be part of that kind of games. So it's not, I'm again repeat, it's not message to countries which want to do jobs with I don't know which kind of companies. It's very important to understand that in a contemporary society we have a lot of corruption. We have of destroying of public moral in the concept of working of public for the public interest, for the national interest, and we need to combine that kind of things. We can combine in only if we work in honest way, transparent way, and if we promote the really democratic values in our society and in our institution. This is my message.
أريد أن أذكر لك مثالا أيضا حيا، يعني في باكستان ميناء إغوادار كان مثالا حيا أيضا على مدى تحكم الصين في هذا الميناء. أعني بذلك أن الصين تقدم على استغلال مقدرات البلاد، ومونتينيغرو حصل فيها اليوم هذه المشكلة بموضوع الطريق السريع. هل تعتقدون أن الصين تتوجه في مونتينيغرو اليوم للسيطرة على مقدرات هذا البلد؟
I don't know what exactly happening in Pakistan. We have one port which is very important for us in Montenegro, that is Port of Bar. We think that Port of Bar can be very interesting strategic point for the development of our country, but also for the future of region of this part of the world. And we want to find the investor for Port of Bar, but we will be very careful which company will be involved in this project. For now, we have the interest of many companies. Some of them are very credible in global market, very well known in global market, but we still don't have the final decision. For the countries which are small like Montenegro, it's very important that don't make the mistake when we're talking about, especially about the ports, because that is the only port in the country. And I hope that we will find some investors who really want to provide something good for our country, but also to find some interest to make the good business in Montenegro.
سيد أبازوفيتس، يعني أنا عنيت بهذا السؤال أن الصين قد تتحكم بالقرار السيادي للبلاد. هل تعتقدون أن الصين فعليا ستقدم على التحكم بالقرار السيادي لمونتينيغرو أم ماذا؟
I cannot say that is not something what can be like a thesis. You give one possibility that is true, but I just want to mention the case of Montenegro, that sometimes it's looked like that, but I am more than sure that our people will have the sovereignty to make the decision, and also the government, and we need to protect our national interest. I repeat, we want everything best for everyone, for every country. We are very peaceful, we are very friendly, but also have over national interests, also have our national dignity and integrity, and we want to protect that. This is the way. But we need to have responsible decision maker, responsible government, responsible authorities, which working in interest of our state and not in the interest of some another states or some another financial or political groups.
سيد دريتان أبازوفيتس، نائب رئيس وزراء مونتينيغرو، شكرا جزيلا لك على هذه المقابلة.